Well, hello folks, this is Nick. Nick was a donkey that I picked up off of Craigslist. He was an intact jack. He's been castrated and he's doing real well. We've done some work with halter training. He's packed a few times. He ponied him. He's doing good. He's got a real strong willingness to please. He's going to be a good donkey. So I'm starting the process now of working with him under saddle, and today is the first step in that process. And what we're doing today is we're here at the vet's office in Kiowa, Colorado, and we're Comanche vet, and Woody's going to do the work for me today, and he's been doing this for over 50 years. He's a great veterinarian, but he's gonna, the first thing we want to do is we want to pull his wolf teeth, because those wolf teeth are right in the way of the bit, and it can be very painful, and you can really start off on a bad foot if you're trying to put a bit in a donkey's mouth with wolf teeth. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to get those wolf teeth pulled today. We're going to float his teeth, and then his buddy over there, Honcho, is here for moral support and to drag his big butt into the vet's area if we need to, because like I said, we're still working on some halter training with this guy, so I don't know how well he's going to do getting in the building. And so that's why I brought Honcho, just in case. I'll bring Honcho in first and see if Nick will follow. And if not, I can put a lead rope around Honcho's neck and we'll get him in there one way or the other. So that's the plan. So we're getting ready to go pull some teeth. Let's get started. For today, we're just going to take it easy, and we're going to just put the riding saddle on him, put a little pressure on him on both sides, and see how he does. I don't know that I'll sit in the saddle today, but I'll stand up in the stirrups a little bit, get him used to me being above him, that sort of thing. I mean, when you think about it, when a predator attacks an animal like this, they jump on its back and the back of its neck. So we're asking a lot of this animal to trust me when I do that. And so it just takes a little bit for him to get the idea that I'm not attacking, I'm not going to hurt him. And so that's really what you're going through when you first step in the saddle like that with these guys, is they've got to trust that you're not going to hurt them. So that's kind of where I want to get with today. It's my goal, is just to get him with a saddle on him and get some pressure in the stirrups today. You know, it's important, guys, if you're going to be working with your donkeys, have a goal that day. Have something you want to try to accomplish that day, but also keep in mind that you may not accomplish it that day. You may not get to your end goal. So maybe if I was working with halter training and I had a tarp on the ground, my end goal may not be to cross that tarp that day, but it's to start working to communicate with the halter and get him to trust me. So maybe the next day you cross the tarp. So in these cases, just remember it's his schedule, not mine. And so we need to make sure we're thinking about that when we set goals for training each time we work with these animals. So that's my goal today, is to put some pressure in the saddle and get him used to have a riding saddle. I may walk him around a little bit with a riding saddle and let him feel the stirrups beside him, bumping his ribs, that sort of thing. Just get him used to it and let him know it's not going to hurt him. That's what we're going to do today. So Nick's had a pack saddle on him a couple times here. I've actually ponied him a few times. He's done real well. As you can see, he's still a little jumpy with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this pad in my arm like this, and I'm going to rub him. And as I'm rubbing him, I'm going to ease the pad up on his back. Okay, just to get him. And I have the pad near his body like this. So we're going to see, he's still a little nervous about it. A lot of this stuff is new. I've only had a saddle on him, I think, 3 or 4 times. So you know, it takes a dozen times or so to get him used to the fact that we're going to be doing that. He's okay with it. So I'm just going to kind of touch him with a little bit here. Turn the pad around so they get on his back. So when I move it, you can see he's kind of jumping a little bit when I move it. So he's still nervous about it. It's okay. I'll take my time. Touch him with the saddle, with the pad. You get on his back. Just like that. Now if I would have just approached him with the pad and opened it up and did like this to him, that's going to spook him. He's going to try to get away from me. So if you start at the shoulder, touch him as you hold the pad, he can see the pad in his hand, he can feel the touch, and I ease it back. Generally, you don't have that shock of trying to get away from me. So remember that when you're first putting the pad on these donkeys, start that way. Don't just walk up, open the pad, and go at him because he's not sure what you're trying to do. So always approach from the shoulder right here. That's the least scary spot, I guess you could say. Like I said, I've had a pack saddle on him already, so hopefully this won't, with the straps and stuff hanging down, this won't be too much for him. We'll stand there a second. Seems relaxed. He's not tense. He's not ready to pull. You can kind of, I mean, especially with a horse, horse can be like a coiled spring sometimes. You can tell they're just about ready to buck. Of course, with a donkey, they don't generally want to buck. They just want to get away, or they'll lay down if they get too stressed. But you still kind of want to watch him, see if his neck's tensed up, if his body's tensed up. A lot of times what a donkey will do when he's ready to try to get away is I call it balling up. So basically he'll tuck his butt up under him into a little ball, and he's not doing that now. He's relaxed. We'll go put this on his back now. Now if he gets to where he may act like he's gonna fall down, I'll unhook him real quick and we'll walk a little bit. You okay, bud? It's just a different reaction these guys have to these saddles. A horse, when you cinch, if you cinched up a rear cinch like this on a horse, I think everybody knows what he's gonna do. He's gonna buck. He's gonna try to get out from under that stress and get away from it. But the way a donkey thinks is, okay, I'm in distress, I might get hurt. I'm not going to make it any worse by acting that way, and so they won't generally buck. They'll either, that's where the old balk comes from. Whoop, hold on, buddy. See that leg starting to buckle a little bit there? I'm watching his feet, just making sure he doesn't fall. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera or not, but his knees are buckling a little bit, so I just want to watch him. Well, you can see by the walking around a little bit, he's not real sure. I was having to coax him pretty good there to get him to move around, so he's a little worried. And that's to be expected. Not real sure what's going on. Plus I'm taking him away from his corral buddies. So we got to work on that a little bit. So let's see what we can do here, a little bit of weight in the saddle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get his feet squared by pulling on this saddle, and he'll spread his legs out a little bit and kind of preparing for the fact that I'm going to get on him. So I'll do like this. Okay. There we go. Get his feet squared. Not real sure. Good job, buddy. Good job. Good job, Nick. Good job, Nick. That's good. I'm gonna go from the other side. I always go from both sides. You never know when you need to get on the other side. If I'm on a side of the hill somewhere and there's a drop off down here. I can't get off on this side, I gotta get off on the right side, so I always want to make sure we're doing both sides. Good job, Nick. Well, that was not bad. That was good for a first time, I think. He's doing good. He seems apprehensive, but somewhat relaxed. So I'm happy with that. The next step's going to be, I've got a little small round pin set up over here, and I'll bring him in there and untie him so he's not tethered here, and do the same thing. And then maybe go ahead and sit in the saddle in there and then let him walk around a little bit. Give him my next step. So that was good for a first time. So I don't know, this has been maybe 30 minutes of working with him. Probably enough for today. And we'll bring you back out tomorrow and do this again. And he'll remember all this and remember it wasn't that bad. He didn't get hurt, he didn't die. We'll go from there. This is fun. I love working with donkeys. You're awesome. You're awesome, buddy.